Okay, so here I skipped a few photos to this photo because this is a photo I would definitely pull into Photoshop because it's an up close picture of her face and we want to make sure that it pops. Okay, so I'm gonna crop it. I'm going to put this preset on it, the Shangri-La, Aloha, Shangri-La. I think it just has like a little more yellow in it, the Shangri-La. Okay, so I have the Shangri-La in it. 2-finger click, edit in Photoshop, edit with Lightroom adjustments. And then it should just naturally pull up onto the screen. Okay, so first thing I'm gonna do before is I always like to leave this picture from Casey just down here in the corner so I can just drag and drop from it. So I'm gonna do the clarify action. I'm gonna bring it down just a little bit, 20 to 29%. I'm going to do the select color. See, this time you can see where that splotch is. So I'm going to bring the opacity down and then I'm gonna, oh, this is helpful. You need to be clicked on this to drag things off the screen. So see it's not moving this time. So I'm gonna make sure this is unlocked and pull it off. Okay, got those things done. Feel good about that. So I'm gonna flatten this. Okay, so the next thing I wanna do is run my skin softening tool. So I'm gonna go to actions. I'm going to scroll down until I see this Pro Retouch and I'm going to run a Skin Deblotch Medium. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna highlight it, hit play. It's gonna give you this warning thing. You can just ignore that and hit continue. Okay. All right, so it didn't do anything to the photo yet. So what I'm gonna do, this is something that needs to be painted on. So I ran the action, now I'm gonna go back to layers. You see it's right here. It's all, it's a black, this is called a mask. It's got a black mask here. So I'm gonna go to my magnifying tool, zoom in to her face. And then I'm going to go to my paintbrush, which is right here. And I'm going to start painting over her skin. And it's gonna make it butter. Again, like the other one, making sure I'm not going on her nostrils or her eyebrows or anything like that. Okay, if you don't feel like, sometimes this might, you wanna make sure that you're painting at an opacity. Can you see that up here? Sorry. You wanna make sure that you're painting at an opacity of 100. So I'm on the paintbrush and I'm at an opacity of 100 and a flow of 100 because it's easier to just, so now I can go, I'm gonna click my eyeball here and see before and after. And then I'm gonna zoom out and see, did I overdo it? Did I make her face look like plastic? And if that's the case, which it's a little strong, I'm gonna bring it down to like 60, I'm bringing this down to 67%. Okay, I'm gonna flatten that. And then I'm just gonna real quick go back in and get rid of the dry skin under her lip with my spot healing brush. Just drag it over it real quick. That made that look funny. I'm gonna undo that. Undo it again. Probably shouldn't have dragged it out. Oh, still again. It's picking up pink from her lip for some reason, so I'm gonna leave that alone for a second. So this is like, no parent would ever be like, there's a little tiny thing by her lip. Like you can't even see it when you're zoomed out. So like don't go crazy. But if I really felt like I need to take this little blotch thing away, what I would do is use my clone stamp, which is this guy, this stamp looking thing. And what that does is it selects a piece of skin or selects a spot and puts it over. So if I hit my Option key on my keyboard down here, Option, it's going to turn that little circle into a dot thingy, and I'm going to select that, and then that's too close. I'm going to select what I want to paint over it, and then it'll just paint. So I'm selecting the skin, letting go, and then dragging my mouse and clicking my finger to paint over. And you're going to play around with these. So to use this, because you're going to eventually use this stamp a lot. So if I'm hitting the Option key, let me click out, and I'm dragging it, see how circular it looks? That's because the hardness of the brush is really high up. So if I 2-finger click and drag this hardness all the way down, and now when I do it, if I get really close, it'll look a little bit more natural. And I should be working in a layer right now, so I could turn down the opacity of this once I finish, but we're like really zoomed in here. That's just something to practice. That's not a necessity for this photo. Okay, so she looks adorable. One thing that I see in this photo is that because of the way it was shot, so it was shot with the sun wasn't really behind us and it wasn't really in front of us. So she has like, she could be a little bit warmer in tone. So I'm gonna go back to my K picture here. Oops, keep making it smaller. Drop this down here. And there is an action on here called Warm It Up, Chris. And you're gonna drag it and drop it, and it just gives some more warmth to the picture, which like up really high is way too much. But if it's down in like the 20s or the 30s, it just kind of makes her skin tone super warm. Okay, so there she is, all cleaned up. There's other stuff that we could do, but that's just like a real basic edit. I know this is part of the ivy on the tree, but it looks like dirt, so we're gonna get rid of it really quick. Okay, there you go. So I think I edited this photo and posted it on social media. I cloned out this whole piece of tree here. We're not going to worry about that yet because that's takes a little bit more effort, but this will get you started in just kind of figuring out how to move through Photoshop. So I'm going to make sure it's all flattened. I'm going to save it. And then once they're saved, you can X out of them. I don't think I did. Like this one, X out this one. Make sure it popped right back in. Oops. To Lightroom here, it did. So we see before, after for this photo. I didn't retouch her eyes at all, other than whatever the action did. But you could make her eyes pop even more, but they already pop a lot, so I wouldn't go crazy with that. And then we can X out of this one.